Hello again, everyone. Today I am here with a long ago requested video for how to fit bound books into traveler's notebooks and which notebooks will fit into which sizes. So I'm not going to be covering all sizes of notebook today, but I am going to cover some of the bound books that I have and some of the notebooks that I have, the traveler's notebooks that I have. So these that you see here, these are bound larger books that are either fillable yourself or they're sketchbooks or something like that. So not every sketchbook is going to fit into every person's notebook. There is going to be some variation in sizing, so I just wanted to start there. So let's go ahead and start with these A6 sizes here. They actually have the same notebook in them. These are two different A6 notebooks. This is a independent maker that I purchased from on Etsy, and this is an old style A6 folio from Chic Sparrow. And they both have a Hanamulla watercolor sketch notebook in here in the A6 size. So this one is quite spacious. I'll put a link down below to the shop where I got this, but most A6 folios, if you look at the size of this Hanamulla A6 sketchbook, which I'll also put a link to below, will fit, and it's quite nice to be able to have a little sketchbook like this in an A6 size. So this one, like I said, is an old style Chic Sparrow notebook. Some of the newer styles may not fit a book this large. So again, I would go ahead and look at the measurements between the holes and the slits. Although the new folios, I don't have an A6 size in the new folios. It seems like because there is no little slit here, it just goes from end to end with a strip of leather here. You probably could fit just about any A6 size notebook. But as you can see, it's a hardbound notebook, and that fits in there quite nicely. It's actually quite snug in this one, but this one has a little bit of extra room here. So the next one is another, well, it's not really A6 size. This is a Moleskine size, the smaller Moleskine size, although I do have a Pentalic notebook in here. This is a little bit smaller than the A6 size, and it's also a sketchbook for watercolor. You can see I have some little watercolor sketches and color mixes in here and various drawings. And this is actually a specific folio from Sojourner that is made for this purpose. They make them in both A5 and this smaller size, which I think they call A6, but is a little bit smaller than an A6. But it would fit a Moleskine size, smaller watercolor notebook. So I did want to bring your attention to this option, and I'll put a link to the listing on Sojourner for this one. And then these are two different speckled fawns notebooks. This is a narrow, and this is a B6. And I wanted to show you them fitting two Archer and Olive notebooks. So this is the rather newer size narrow for Archer and Olive, and it fits perfectly in this narrow speckled fawns. And the speckled fawns, usually if they're standard, they come with sort of a narrower spine, unless you get them in larger spine sizes. And this fits just fine in that. This is the chatelaine design, which is, as of the time of this filming, it's not currently available, but they do have the narrow sizes, and they seem to be pretty consistent with what is a narrow size. So that'll fit that Archer and Olive notebook. And then this fits a B6 Archer and Olive notebook. And I just have it on one string in the back, and this is the B6 size. So you could fit that Archer and Olive B6 in any notebook. So those are your fillable notebooks, but now I'm going to show some other bound book options. I'm going to bring those in from off screen here. I have a few. And before I go on, I did want to show you this option. This is not a bound book, but this is a B6 Slim Chic Sparrow with a Kindle on one of the strings. It's in a little case. It looks like I need to charge it, but it's in a little case, and the case just wraps around the string like so, and you can just close it up. And then I have a notebook for book notes in here as well. So that actually works quite well. It's not technically a book, but I did want to show it really quickly because I'm showing books. All right. So let me get these other things off to the side here. And I wanted to show you kind of a variety so you can see the different variety of notebooks that can fit in these things. So this is what I would consider sort of an A5 size bound book. This just happens to be the bullet journal method, but a lot of sort of how-to books and stuff come in this size. And I also have another book that's actually a little bit larger than this one in this A5 traveler's notebook as it is. But this, since it's a little bit smaller, would fit just perfectly in here. So I'm going to put a link to this book down below, and if you look at the bound size of this, if you are looking for other books that may fit into an A5 size traveler's notebook, just look at the dimensions for this book, and any book that is that dimension will fit in a Chic Sparrow A5. As to other sizing, you know, it really varies, but the Chic Sparrow A5 works really well with this particular size book. So like I said, I'll put a link down below to this particular book, and then you can look at the dimensions if you want another book that might fit into an A5 traveler's notebook. So this, I actually have that size of a book. This is a Breathe list journal that I have in here. I will try to put a link down to this book as well. It's a little bit older, so I'll see if I can find it. But this fits on a string, and it's actually a little bit tall, but since the reason why I brought that other book out is because it is a little bit shorter and would fit better. Because I'll show you. This book is actually going to be a better size for this notebook. So I'll put a link down below to this book if I can find it, but just note that this is going to be a little bit tall. Actually, you're getting the top and bottom cut off a little bit there. So I'm going to lower it down so you can see that it is just a little bit tall here, but I still have it on a string. And then in addition to that, I have an extra notebook, and then I have another lined notebook in the back. So it can hold quite a bit. This is a Chic Sparrow in the, oh my goodness, I'm totally forgetting the leather, but this is the Misty Mountain. No, this isn't the purple. It's the Cherry Skies color. And I'll put a link below to this whole collection in at Chic Sparrow's website. But as you can see, this will hold a lot. This particular leather is very flexible, so it fits quite nicely to mold around. Other notebooks, you know, you might just be able to fit the book and one other smaller notebook, but this one fits quite well. Okay, so that's A5. I have one other A5 here, and if you've been watching my channel for a while, you've already seen this one. This is an older A5 folio, and here I have my 5-year Some Lines a Day notebook, and this is hardbound. So the Some Lines a Day in the A5 size, the 5-year, will fit in an A5. The folios are a little tricky. I think the newer folios, again, would probably fit fine. The only thing is noting, you know, is there going to be enough room on the spine? This is an older one, and some of the spines on the newer ones tend to be a little narrower. So it could be trial and error, but this book would definitely fit into a traveler's notebook on the strings. So you could do that as well. All right, and what do I have here? So this is a B6 size. I think this is the only B6 size that I have with an actual book in it. So again, this is an older style Chic Sparrow notebook. This is in, and again, I'm totally blanking on names today, but again, this is sort of the pebbly leather that they had at one point. It's somewhat soft and flexible, but I think just about any leather would fit a book like this. And this is the little book of Hygge, I think is how you say that. And I have it in this little notebook so I can reference it, and it's by, it's in a little nook where I can take a look at these things, because there are nice little meditations and thoughts that are included in this book. So, so that book fits pretty flush, top and bottom, and side to side. I would say it's probably a perfect fit. And again, if you look at the dimensions of this particular book, if you're looking at another book that has the same dimensions or a little bit smaller, you would be able to fit it in a B6. So let's go on to another one here. So I'm gonna do a couple of B6 Slims at the end, but first I'm gonna do some A6. So B6 and A6 and A5 seem to be the three sizes that standard books fit in the best. These both are A6. This is an older A6 in the Maverick leather, and this is a creme in an A6. And so this one holds the positive journal, and it's basically a little journal where you can write different things every day, and this fits like a glove in this particular notebook. And I would say that the softer leathers are always going to mold a little bit better around books. You probably could do it with a stiffer leather as well, because you can see the spine is pretty maxed out here. This one's a thicker leather, and as you can see, it's still molding around, but it's a different size book too. But this one is sticking out just a little bit. So again, I'm going to put the books down there, but mostly it's so that you can look at the sizing of the books and know which books would fit in there. And this one's pretty chunky. It's pretty thick. I was pretty happy when I realized that that fit in there, because it's really, really perfect. And it's nice to have sitting around like that and just waiting for me to write in it. So then this one, the Maverick leather, is a little bit stiffer. This is an older Maverick. It's even older to the point where it has the old pen loop and the curved pockets. But this is a little book of self-care. And this one also fits fairly well, but this is sort of maxing out what you can fit in here. And this one does have a little bit of overhang of the book. So if you don't like that, this size book would probably not be right. But again, I will put links to all the books so you can see the dimensions. And then lastly, I wanted to cover a couple of B6 Slim notebooks and the books that fit in them. So this one you've already seen before. This you may or may not have seen before, actually. So this is a 5-year Midori notebook, which I think fits like a glove in this B6 Slim. This is an older retired design called Dr. Jones, but I think, again, in newer styles it would fit just fine because the sizing is the same of the notebook itself. So that one fits great in there. I think that's a great fit. And then I wanted to show you a mass market paperback in a B6 Slim. So this is just a really old version of Watership Down that I have, and so you can see how a mass market paperback fits. So this is the smaller size mass market paperback. So you'd need to make sure that it truly is mass market paperback size. I don't think I can put a link to this one because this is an older book, but especially if it's a thicker book, it fits really nicely in this. And you probably could even fit a thinner notebook in the back for taking notes or something like that. But I actually just put this in here for the purposes of this video to show you how nicely a mass market paperback will fit in a B6 Slim. This might even fit in the new size personal, but I think the book would probably be a little bit wide. I don't think I have that size available. Otherwise, I would try that out. No, I don't. But I do know that it'll fit in here, especially if it's thick. A thinner mass market paperback may indeed fit in a personal size. I would just look at the measurements carefully for that. Okay, so I just wanted to show you just some examples of how you can store books in traveler's notebooks. I have a lot of traveler's notebooks, so I tend to use them for various purposes, and this is one of the reasons that I have so many, is because I do store a lot of different things in them. All right, well, I think that's all I had for you today. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you have any questions, let me know down below and I'll answer when I can. This is my first video using my new iPhone, so let me know if you see any improvement there. I am able to get a wider angle here, so that's kind of nice to get more things in the screen. I do think it's wider, but I think it might be narrower. I'm not sure. But that's it for today. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. And like I said, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I hope to see you next time. But in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.